The U.S. soccer apparatus is an absolute joke. An absolute joke. After the match yesterday, Gregg Berhalter, after losing 3-0, starts this contentious press conference with members of the media. Members of the media who, by the way, have been incredibly accommodating to him in ways that they never were towards Jurgen Klinsmann. And they weren't really towards Bob Bradley. And I don't care about Bruce Arena. So he was cagey with members of the media. Challenged the contention that they were overrun in the first half by Mexico. And they were, by the way. Mexico controlled the possession. They had the better chances. Besides one 20-minute spell, which, by the way, is less than half of the entire first half. Never mind how it actually factors into an entire 90 minutes. And it all went wrong. U.S. ended up losing 3-0. Almost clawed one back after a penalty was given. Penalty kick was missed, but it was at the end of the match anyway. We were down 3-0. Wouldn't have mattered. But what annoys me is, after this press conference, this one reporter who characterized the first half as the U.S. getting overrun felt like he needed to apologize. And there were U.S. men's soccer press staffers tweeting that out. That's ridiculous. And it got me going to the U.S. Soccer men's website. I'm looking at the profiles of the players here. Let's look at Will Trapp, because I want to talk about Will Trapp. Got nothing against Will Trapp as a guy. I'm sure he's a great person. None of this is personal. This is pure soccer. A tenacious midfielder with vision, Trapp came up through the U.S. youth national team setup and received small bits of playing time before a breakthrough in 2018, when Gregg Berhalter was hired, by the way, December 2018. With the men's national team program, putting a focus towards younger players, Trapp was a constant in the side, leading the team in minutes and games played during the year, while earning the captain's armband for several appearances. Interesting that the accomplishment is that he led in minutes and games played. On the club front, the Ohio native has been part of the Columbus Crew SC organization since 2008, rising from the academy ranks to become the first-team captain while helping the small market side's ability to punch far above its weight in recent years. First of all, U.S. soccer shouldn't be commenting one way or another about the market or the cachet of a team in MLS. It's not for them to say. It's kind of ridiculous, especially by doing so, thinking that they're inflating the profile of one of their players. And there's an entire page on him, a ready-made leader. While a midfield fixture with the Columbus Crew for years, as of 2017, his involvement in the men's national team was limited to 2 caps. I mean, this whole thing is a giant puff piece. They have a section on it where it says praise from Henri. The well-regarded throughout his youth and collegiate career, a milestone moment came during his second season with Columbus in 2014. Having become a full-time starter that year, he put an exclamation point on the campaign with a dominant display and a 3-1 win against the Red Bulls. After the game, legendary French striker and then Red Bulls attacker Thierry Henry was asked what the difference was. He said, Will Trapp was the key of that team. He has, hopefully for him, a good future. He's American. You guys should be happy. I thought he was the difference. On the U.S. soccer website, wanting so badly to legitimize one of the MLS boys, that they're touting as an accomplishment, leading in minutes and leading in appearances, and then plucking a Thierry Henry quote from when he was a player at the end of one game. It wasn't even a playoff game. It was just a single regular season game. They don't do this in other places, by the way. They don't do this. They don't write paragraph after paragraph about a player listing things that aren't even accomplishments on the national team on the U.S. soccer website. It's absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. Have a hard time with it, honestly. What do they have about Sergiño Dest? Sergiño Dest has been in our system for a long time. Played the U17 World Cup. Has been in the U.S. soccer system for a while. Here's what they have. Professional. Signed his first pro contract with Ajax, December 10th, 2018. On the books at the legendary Dutch club until 2021. Worked his way into regular minutes this year with Jong Ajax, logging 1356 minutes in 17 appearances. Scored his first goal, yada, yada, yada. Personal, his first name, they just go over like details, his favorite soccer player and stuff. A basic profile. I mean, this is a young kid starting for a Champions League club. And then write 2 tiny paragraphs about him, which, by the way, is normal. That's fine. What about Alfredo Morales? Oh, they don't have anything about him. Well, that's funny. They have that he's number 15, hometown Berlin, club, Fortuna Dusseldorf in Germany. Date of birth, 15 appearances. That's what they got for him. Interesting. Really interesting. But they have a long puff piece about Will Trapp, which is really, I bet you they have a lot about Pulisic. Let's look. Yep. Yeah, they got a lot of Christian Pulisic here. But they listed some real accomplishments as well. So here's the thing. It sounds like I just hate Will Trapp. I don't. I don't. I've got nothing against Will. Never met, I say Will like he's my best pal. I've got nothing against Will Trapp. By the way, I'm interested to see Weston McKennie's profile. Yeah, so they wrote a long puff piece about Weston McKennie as well. But here's the thing. Weston McKennie is the starting center midfielder for a Bundesliga team, Schalke, who's been in the Champions League, playing for Dave Wagner. Great coach. What is Will Trapp doing? Well, Will Trapp played for Gregg Berhalter in MLS, and I guess in 2014 he played well enough for Thierry Henry to compliment him one time. But let's look at the statistics, because I think that's the only fair way to really look at this. Let's look at the statistics for Will Trapp, and let's try to figure out together why he's in this team starting in a friendly game against Mexico, and why he's right now the favored defensive center mid for Gregg Berhalter. So I was looking at some analytics. I was going deep into the data, trying to find the high impact area for Will Trapp. Because, there are a lot of ways to evaluate a player. Lots of ways. I mean, tons of them. Tons of ways you can evaluate a player. So, it's important to look at the various levels of nuance. So, big thing is, I know what he's not, right? He's a holding midfielder. So I'm not expecting this guy to play, a number of high impact passes that lead to scoring chances. I'm not looking for him to have assists. And by the way, if you look for any American player to lead in MLS in assists, you're going to be very, very disappointed. There's no American in the top 10 of MLS, by the way, in the category of assists. Not one. Not one. The highest ranked American player for assists in the league right now, I'll give you 3 guesses. Michael Bradley? Nope. Darlington Nagbe? Nope. Lee Win? Nope. Sebastian Lletget? Nope. Do you know who it is? It's Edgar Castillo. Edgar Castillo, number 28 in MLS in assists. Jordan Morris is number 33. These are our top guys. So let's look at pass success percentage. For a midfielder, this is important, right? Especially if you're trying to relieve pressure on the back line. You need to be able to be a reliable valve in order to release that pressure, to spring out of your own zone and get into the attack on the pitch, right? Either get it wide to wingers, play it through to a striker who's holding off a defender, Or sometimes it's just clearing the ball away. But Berhalter doesn't want them to play that way. We saw that against Mexico when players like Weston McKennie, who make pretty good decisions a lot of the time, were playing dangerous back passes to the keeper. So, let's look at pass success percentage. Number 1 in the league is Darlington Nagbe, and it's not close, 92.8%. And he's the highest ranking American. He's the highest ranking player in MLS in that category. Now, we could debate about, what that means in terms of Nagbe, but second highest ranked American is Sebastian Lletget, number 6, 90.8%. Lee Win, number 11. Tommy Thompson, number 13. Michael Bradley, number 14. That's 89.2%. Pretty good. I personally think he should be better than 14 with the amount of money he gets paid over in Toronto, but hey, whatever. It is what it is. Matt Hedges, number 26. He's a central defender. 88.3% FC Dallas. And he's under duress a lot. Christian Roldan, number 39. 87.1. Bedoya, 87.4. That's number 36. Where's Will Trapp? Combing through the data here. Where's Will Trapp? Well, okay. How about tackling? Because if you're going to be a good defensive midfielder, you have to be able to break up the attack. And that's important. If you're not super accurate passer, that's important, right? So there's a couple Americans, 3 Americans in the top 10 in tackles in MLS. That's great. Not Michael Bradley. Definitely not Darlington Nagbe. Number 5 is Joe Corona, 3.2 per game. Joe Corona. That Joe Corona. Yep. The one they say, well, we have questions about his defense. 5th highest tackle per game ratio in MLS. Edgar Castillo is number 6. So not only is he highest ranked American in assists, but he's 2nd highest in tackles. Sean Davis, number 8. Austin Trusty, number 12, center defender. Russell Canos, number 20. Where's Will Trapp? Well, he's number 46. Walker Zimmerman, by the way, who played the game yesterday, number 90. Well, what about interceptions? You don't have to always make a tackle to break up an attack. Interceptions. Keegan Rosenberry is number 1 in MLS and amongst American players. Miles Robinson's number 15. Will Trapp doesn't even make the list in the top 20 or top 30. He's number 34. How about clearances? Maybe he's just booting the ball forward. Ike Opara, number 4. Steve Birnbaum, number 5. Aaron Long, number 6. There's a guy who made an appearance. Walker Zimmerman, 34. Will Trapp, not even on the list. Well, maybe he's running through people, right? Maybe he's dribbling past them. Tommy Thompson's 29. Darlington Nagbe's 31. Juan Agodelo's 33. There are no more Americans in that top list, in the top 40. And guess what? Will Trapp's not on it. We knew that. Maybe he's getting fouled a lot. We're reaching now. Paxton Pomykal, number 7. Christian Roldan, 18. CJ Sapong, 30th. Nagbe, 60th. Will Trapp's not on that list. What about playing through balls per game? No Americans in the top 20. Great. So he's not making assists. He's not making a lot of tackles, not making a lot of interceptions. This is in MLS, by the way. Will Trapp. You know what he ranks in the top 10 on? Average passes per game. Just the sheer volume. Michael Bradley's number 1. Will Trapp is number 6. Matt Beasler's number 7. So he's playing a lot of passes, and he's not even playing them that accurately. Great. What's he doing in this team? What's he bringing to the table? U.S. Soccer is working really, really hard, to build up MLS, which it shouldn't be doing. These should be 2 separate entities. What's good for MLS is not always what's good for U.S. Soccer. Now, if MLS becomes a great league, you would think that'd be great for U.S. Soccer. Look at these categories. The only one where we have really, really dominant numbers in the top 10 is long balls played per game. We have the number 1, 2, 3, 5th, 6th, and 8th players in the league, Americans. And they're all keepers. Nick Raimondo, Dave Bingham, Brad Guzan, Tim Howard, Steve Clark, and Sean Johnson. Great. So with the growth of MLS, and it is growing, are we seeing American players grow? Nope. I don't think so. Darlington Nagbe can dominate pass success percentage, which is great. We have some young players up there, like Leggett, number 6, 11, is Lee Win. Lee Win's not young anymore. But some of these guys at the top weren't even in camp. Sebastian Leggett came off the bench. Okay, you're going with Will Trapp over guys like Christian Roldan, over guys like Tommy Thompson, over guys like Lee Win, over guys like Sebastian Leggett, who rank in almost every single area of impact for a midfielder higher than Will Trapp. And you've got one of the longest puff pieces on U.S. soccer, longer than Christian Pulisic, by the way, for Will Trapp. I get he's one of your guys, Berhalter. I get it. You go with what you know. Except you don't. Not at this level. You know, everybody has their favorites. You know, Bob Bradley used to call in guys. I mean, we didn't have a lot of players playing abroad. Clint Dempsey at Fulham was like the hottest thing we had going for a while. And Jurgen Klinsmann said it, you know, said he hadn't won anything really, hadn't done anything. And he's kind of right. Hadn't won a Premier League title, you know, hadn't won a scoring title. I'm one of the biggest Clint Dempsey fans. We need informed peak Clint Dempsey in the pool right now because, oh, man. But in terms of, like, the grand scheme of things, you know, when Joe Corona and Edgar Castillo and Sean Davis and Austin Trusty and Russell Canoes are better tacklers than you, when Keegan Rosenberry and Miles Robinson are crushing you on interceptions, when you're tied with Edgar Castillo, Will Trapp, how are you the starting center midfielder? Why is Berhalter talking about, and at one point did, playing Tyler Adams at right back just to keep you in the lineup? Unbelievable. Shouldn't happen. Absolutely shouldn't happen. It's disgraceful. And it's disgraceful the free pass that the U.S. soccer apparatus wants to give Gregg Berhalter. Gave a promotion to Ernie Stewart just for hiring him. His brother is his boss. The thing is... Oh, and by the way, listening to the media's pandering to Gregg Berhalter, and they're describing him as a tactical genius, where has he proven that? Where has that been made obvious? Because he was able to make serviceable Columbus teams with limited resources? Because he was able to make Gyasi Zardes look like a good striker for a little while? That's what it takes? My gosh. My favorite thing about this is U.S. Soccer didn't even think it was worth interviewing Tata Martino. The guy who, by the way, continues to wax Gregg Berhalter at both the club and the national team level. Continues to beat him over and over and over again. Who knows these MLS players, by the way? And for U.S. Soccer to act so arrogantly, based on, I mean, you know, I do feel like there's this concerted effort to, if we have guys like Will Trapp is not even a top 50 midfielder in the MLS. And he's continually called into the national team over guys who deserve it more. I understand why Nagbe turned down an offer to play. I understand it. You want to come out here and sit on the bench when guys that you're better than by every measurable metric are playing above you, like Will Trapp, because he was the coach's pet? Would you want to come into camp? I wouldn't. The thing is, U.S. soccer's been broken for a while. We have an entire generation of talent lost. They never bridged the gap between the Clint Dempseys. This is one of the reasons people wanted Michael Bradley to go away. It's not because we don't think, I say we, I never really wanted him to go away. Like I said, Michael Bradley can bring things to your team. And even if you don't play him a lot, it's important to have him in camp. It's important to have him talking to the young guys. Even guys like Christian Pulisic. We forget the kid is 20 years old. 20. There's some people on Twitter right now talking about whether he's peaked or not because he hasn't lit the Premiership alight. He has 2 assists, by the way, in 3 matches. But, you know, if he hasn't scored 3 goals, he's already peaked in 3 matches. I mean, he's 20, and people expect him to set the pitch on fire every time he suits up for the United States. He's going to have bad games. Do you remember Clint Dempsey in the Confederations Cup when John Harkes was saying he was embarrassed of him for trying tricks out on the pitch when everybody else was getting played underneath the table, and he was the only one with the balls to try anything, even if it was sort of weird? Well, he ended up as one of the leading goal scorers in that tournament when it was all said and done. But he had some bad games. He's played poorly in the past. Every single person who's put on a shirt and gone on the pitch has played poorly. This isn't about bad performances. This isn't piling up on Will Trapp for one match where he wasn't super impactful, or Zardes for one match in which he had a touch of stone. It's about a mentality pervasive throughout the association, throughout U.S. soccer, that we can do it our way, from our league. Guess what? The guys you're calling up from your league aren't even the league's best. Though the league's best are players you're signing from bigger leagues who come here. Carlos Vela has come here, looked like the second coming of Christ. A 37-year-old Zlatan Ibrahimovic is scoring over 20 goals per season. Great. Really getting away from that perception that this is a retirement league. Do you remember when guys like Juan Pablo Angel came into the league and they were like one of the leading scorers? What else did he do in his career? Now, that was a while ago. But we talk about all the growth. Has it really helped the American players? No. What has helped the program is American players that go abroad young and get into the most competitive academies and get into the most competitive youth setups and are starting for some of the most competitive clubs in the world. Big matches where every week you could lose your spot. These guys in MLS stroll to work every day. They do. But there's this like inclination to try to denigrate anybody that's we'll work destined to the team. It's got a lot of potential. In the meantime, let's start Will Trapp. Nonsense. What are you doing, U.S. Soccer? I know what you're doing. You're catapulting us to another failure to qualify for the World Cup in a conference as weak as CONCACAF. That's what you're doing. Get it together. Knock it off. Some of us actually care beyond the paychecks we're collecting. Because guess what? We don't get paid to watch these games, man. Tighten up. That's all I have to say.